The aircraft from the Chinese expedition that has been successfully completed have returned to Europe, and we've started organizing them somewhat better. We currently have the air wings available on the Western Front in the 1st Luftflotte, and the air wings that are currently out on other missions are in the Expeditionary Force group. So that hopefully helps us to organize these things a little better. We are going to potentially need larger airports. So one thing I'm already going to start scheduling is upgrading the air bases at the French front significantly. The Alsace-Lorraine airbase does not really have a fallback. So if we lose that airbase, then if we are to lose this airbase, then we have to rely on Württemberg or the Bavarian airbases to take this on. So having a secondary frontline airbase in Luxembourg might not be a terrible idea. So let's get an airbase going here, and we also might need improved range in the north, or improved airbases in the north. But we'll get to that eventually when we need to. On the Eastern Front, the situation is potentially similar in that since we don't control the territory directly, we're not going to be worrying about it too much just yet. Let's just get the Luxembourg airbase built up, and let's see if we can train up any additional air wings right now. In Rhineland, do we have anything? We've got a couple of Bf-109s, a couple of Heinkels, and we are getting the first scout planes available. So that's good. Let's get these groups up, and yes, we do need to convert the older scout planes into the newer model, into the A1 model. But we do get the first scout wings up, which means we can potentially start sending the scout wings up over the 2nd Aufklärungsgeschwader, which is under strength. We'll send them. Where we send them first? What's the range of these wings? The 1st Aufklärungsgeschwader has a very good range. So even from here, they will be able to handle the French region without too much trouble. So let's get air recon over. We'll be deploying that, and we'll get air recon over France going. I should be able to start building up. We'll see. We'll start building up some intelligence that way. So I don't know if the wing's going to start as long as it's under strength, but we'll get to that in a while. As you can see, I have sent the troops home from the Chinese expedition. China can clean out the last remaining encircled Japanese troops, and if they feel so inclined to start pushing into Korea, then they can do so. And we will see if they can concentrate some troops. Japan has not made any naval landings during the whole conflict so far, which is surprising. But it looks like the dominion of India is actually falling to the syndicalists. So we may. We're not in very good terms, obviously, with the old Entente. But I think at some point we'll leave our troops here to help defend the lines. But we'll not get involved any further. Right now, our focus is squarely at this point around the Ottoman Empire and Greece. In Greece, we are waiting out the massive assault from the south, where a large number of Greek assault forces are rushing our defenses in Larissa, and if we can hold that off and launch a successful counterattack either south or east, then that would be beneficial. At the same time, we're waiting out the assaults in Armenia, and we'll see if if we can either make the river crossing from the south, or if we can push from the west and roll it up, the territory up that way. Taking the airport would be quite beneficial, but we'll get to that eventually. I do have, I think, I've got one fighter wing here. We'll actually add that and send that home because it is not necessary, and we actually now have the Nachtjagdgeschwader available. But what I want to do first is I just want to get the whole air wing. We'll take the missions off for now, and we'll just get everybody trained up. That is more important because there are some air wings which are still very green and need to be filled. So that's something we do. In terms of research, I'm going to actually cancel the research for the railway guns because I realized after we've done the assembly line productions that there is the Krupp Railway Artillery Program, which is going to immediately get the technology done, creates 2 railway guns. So that's something we can just get for free. So I don't need to do that, which means I can switch the research from this to something more important. And we'll see what that might be. I think we are starting to run a little late in technology here, but we also have the improved computing machine that needs doing. So let's get that underway and switch that over. Okay, and then we'll get back to the heat where the Greeks have stopped their assaults, so we can launch an attack southwards against. There is an entrenched British division. We've the French on the east. So south, both is hilly territory. The French divisions in the east are in not particularly well entrenched. But they generally tend to be relatively powerful. So these divisions have a fair amount of artillery with them. The British division in the south is less so, the 7th Cardiff that we're facing here. And the 3 Greek divisions, however, only have some support artillery, whereas the French divisions here are bringing a fair amount of line artillery with them. So I think we'll launch an assault south into Lamia and see if we can make that work. So let's get 3 divisions going. And the Greek division instantly retreats. The bigger problem is going to be the entrenched forces. So despite the fact that we are exceeding combat width and they're immediately counterattacking. So we'll probably have to again wait out the counterattack. We'll see, because we are in multiple combat, so that is going to reduce our situation significantly. So we'll wait out the counterattack, and then we'll launch another assault south. So we'll have to time that a little carefully to make sure that we are not losing too much in these multiple combats. Okay, launch another attack and see if we can push them out from their positions in the south. However, they have reinforced in the meantime, and the 7th Cardiff is going to be massively difficult to crack. So we'll keep an eye on things. Unfortunately, enemy aerial superiority is not particularly helpful in that regard. But it looks like that assault is too much for the mountain divisions. So again, we'll abort the push, and we will. Can we send additional volunteers to Greece? I could do with send volunteers. No, we're limited to 3. So that's all we can do. Unfortunately, we can't contest the air. So we are fighting under red air, which makes any kind of offensive operations extremely difficult. But we can also not bring any additional air wings over. So if I was gonna pick one of the Jagdgeschwader, I don't think I can bring that to Greece. No, I can't. I could only bring it to. To Turkey or to the Ottoman Empire, so that's not happening. Yeah, offensive operations under enemy aerial superiority are not easy. So, okay, how does it look? We have managed to isolate, I believe, one of the Iranian divisions. One of the Russian divisions here in the north. So we can start. We can start assaulting that. Assisting from the east while we are while we're retaking the port of Batum. And we'll launch another assault here, try to push them out and potentially manage to get across the river line there. We have an operative available, which is great. Who can we get? Let's see. We do have a master saboteur, not something I'm particularly keen on. An infiltrator. I think we have a Polish national. That is not terrible. So let's actually we can put. I'm not sure if we can still do that actually. The localized training centers, which would give me would give me an opportunity to have a sort of double agent. Well, let's start getting that underway. And the industrial blueprint mission has been completed from the Russians, and we have stolen fuel refining, which is excellent. Which means we now have the operatives available once more to build up the intelligence in the east. So let's send one to Moscow, one to Novgorod, and we'll send a second operative over to France now. Probably to Lyon to help building up the intelligence network in France. We are working on deciphering decrypting their cipher. And let's build up the intelligence networks for now, and then we'll start some more infiltration, especially army infiltrations might be quite useful. Once we can we launch an army infiltration mission in France? Let's have a look. In Commune of France, civilian infiltration, army infiltration, not yet. We need a higher intel network, so that'll happen eventually. I also still do not need to trade out Gericke for Wilhelm Canaris once we have 150 political power. But right now, probably the next action goes towards radio propaganda to give us additional war support and start working against the fact that people on the ground are complaining about their loved ones coming home in a body bag. That is not something we can necessarily do. We've still got some planes that we can convert, and we're done converting the Bf-109s, so that's good. We're still working our way through the old artillery pieces, and the Sturmgewehr, the Schnellfeuergewehr, forgot what it was. 40A is under construction, so that's all good. Which brings us back to the situation in Turkey and in Greece. So we have to wait out. We have to wait out the counterattacks. But again, we'll build up our plan first and regain our momentum there, and wiping out a Russian division here in the east and pushing along the lines in the south. But we are at the edge, I believe, of our supply here. Because Tabriz isn't really giving us anything, and we only have Erzurum in the west here to give us supply. But let's see if we can manage to push them out from their mountain positions there and push across the river line. Otherwise, we will wait for the troops on once they're done defeating the encircled Russian division there. Then they can join. Meanwhile, in the Caribbean, Puerto Rico has declared independence. Their ranks swollen with recruits, Puerto Rican nationalist rebels wrestled control of the island's capital, San Juan, and key military installations in one fell swoop. Foreign forces evacuated the island in the face of this coordinated assault, and while sporadic police resistance continues, the island has come definitely under nationalist control. Okay, so That seems they were probably under American control previously, I would assume, but given the overwhelming at this point the overwhelming military prowess of the syndicalists, it appears that the Puerto Ricans have said no more. We can probably assist Haiti with their war against the Dominican Republic, because Haiti is on relatively friendly terms with us. So is the Dominican Republic. So it's really an internal affair. But we do have docking rights in Haiti. So securing the ports here is actually in German interest. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to send how many divisions can we send there? We could send 3 divisions. So I think these 3, we will just call that the Haiti Expeditionary Force. And who can we assign? We'll be fighting in the mountains. So I don't really think I have somebody who's necessarily specialized in that. Rivers and forts. We can send Paulus, honestly. Yeah, let's send Paulus. He is currently... he is currently taking care of something. Okay, we do need to send... why is he available then? He might have been engaged in China. Yeah, let's reassign him. Okay, Paulus is underway, and we will send send volunteers under Paulus, the Haiti Expeditionary Force. And we will see to Port-au-Prince, and we will assist with the assaults here. I don't know if they have any airports. They do have an airbase, so we might be able to send some planes over, but it might also be too small that this isn't going to be really feasible. Okay, progress is being made. We are pushing out. We're pushing out the Iranian forces that are holding the left river flank. It's just an Armenian division left that is holding the line here, and the Armenians are counterattacking against Ottoman defenses in the mountains here. But we have taken the left bank of the river, and now we'll see if we can manage to push the advantage and get across the river before they can reinforce that. However, they are immediately counterattacking from across the river to prevent exactly that from happening. So let's get 2 divisions to we can't even pin at this point because we are being counterattacked across the river there. We have to wait out the counterattack. We get 2 divisions to pin them across the river, and the other 2 to see if we can follow up the push here and manage to get across the river. But if they have built up the defenses near Kars, then this is not going to help. All right, we have 3 civilian factories. We are going to need military factories, and a lot of them. There were suggestions to build fuel refineries, synthetic refineries. I haven't even researched the necessary tech for that. So that is not something I can do right now. However, I can build some more military factories on German ground that we are going to need. Let's fill up Saxony. That gives them something to do. 10 more factories. And how's our naval reconstruction going along? We've got a long list. This looks very daunting, but it's just a long list of refits. So, but we do need additional naval bases if we can get a couple more. But I think we've pretty much built up the coastline here. There are a couple more naval bases that we can bring up. Let's do that, and there we go. That will saturate the civilian factories that are currently busy otherwise. All right. Any chance of yet another counterattack? We can try, but I think I'm going to finish the planned preparations before we do that. So let's dig in, complete the planned preparations, and focus on the Turkish zone, where we have green air, so they do not have any defenses here, but the planes have the range of the planes is just at the edge. Okay, instant counter attack. So we'll leave one division here to hold off the. Okay. They are reinforcing cars. We are trying to pin the last remaining divisions in the north here, but I think it might at this point be unnecessary. Yeah, they're no longer moving. So let's move everybody over and see if we can manage to force the river crossing. They have some troops that have retreated. Yep, all the forces are returning. That is good. Some troops have retreated from their eastern position into Kars, but they have retreated in disarray. So we should be in a position to force the river crossing here. Turkish troops are helping as well, and I think we are about to get across, and then we can launch the attacks from Kars onto the airport. This is mountain fortifications, so it's not ideal. But once we've taken Kars, and I think we are about to. Yeah, there we go. Kars has been taken. We're now across the river, which means we can shorten the front line, focus the spearhead onto the Kars position, and where are you moving out? You should not be moving out. Let me see. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, let's move all the divisions into Kars, and then. The Turkish are helping as well in the north. We'll just reorganize them here first, and then we will launch the assault on the east. The Turkish have abandoned the lines near Yerevan, so that's less than ideal. But that's not necessarily a problem. And the assembly line production has been completed, which is ideal. So let's deal with that in a second. That's not necessarily a problem if they move out. Okay, the Turkish have held the line, so it's all good. That wouldn't be a problem because it means it's easier for us to break their positions in the rear. However, we've got a couple of things to do before we get to that. First and foremost, assembly line done, so we can now start the Krupp railway artillery program, and that gets that underway. We need some big guns here. And we have Rheinmetall, which we use for artillery. So artillery production, that's production efficiency. No policies available still. Production efficiency for... hang on, how is this different? Towed artillery, efficiency gain in cap. Towed artillery. Okay, so they're both doing the same thing. This is tank and anti-air. Or we could go down with reliability with the hydraulic recoil system and eventually get, that would be anti-tank, hard attack, 100% hard attack on artillery. Okay, that's actually quite valuable. Let's go down this route, upgrade the design trait, yes please. And that means we have to get our artillery production upgraded. Where is it? There it is, the 150 cm schwere Feldhaubitze, Model 36. There you go, improved artillery, and get to it. All right, situation. We can, I think we can, yeah, I would love to launch an assault on the airport here. So I'm actually going to assault across the river just to spread the front lines wider. One of these divisions should be somewhat exhausted, so it's just the Iranians that are dug in here. And if we can manage to take the airport, that would be ideal. Assaults have... Okay, why is my front line messed up? I said to concentrate all divisions in Larissa. There we go. So please get these divisions back there again and start working on your offensive planning, because that's the position from where we are, and it looks like some isolated Greek divisions in the islands here in the south are going to be eliminated, which is not great. Okay, we'll build up our plans once everybody is in position once again, and then we will deal with that. The attack on the fortified mountain positions is faltering due to heavy resistance from the Iranian divisions that are on site. So I think we'll stop the assault here at this point. Wait out the counterattack. and I think we will have another attempt after that. Dispersed 4 is complete, so we have the 1 year ahead from the assembly line, so we can immediately start that. So this isn't actually going to take very long, and we get the 1941 technology in 1939, so that's done. I'm just going to let the divisions here get themselves sorted a little bit. We can still potentially push into the northern position here, which is undefended. So that'll extend our frontline attack as well towards the fortified mountains, and it cuts off the Iranian divisions in the west here. The Polish would like to purchase our tanks. Yes, please. There you go. Go have tanks. The divisions are ready. And we'll wait out this feeble attack from the 7th Cardiff, which means that they're out of their trenches and have gone over the top. And once that attack is broken up, we'll launch the counterattack against Lamia immediately. Obviously, unfortunately, they're attacking us from the east as well, but we are going to attack into Lamia, and the eastern attack should be done relatively soon. And we have the Haitian volunteers now, so they can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have arrived in Port-au-Prince, and we will give them a front line. And I think pushing towards Santo Domingo is probably the best approach here. Let's just try and take the capital. So divisions on the move. And we will ensure that Haiti will take over the whole area, and that our ports are secure. Again, we have civilian factories ready to do more things. What do we need still? Let's have a look around. Military factories for sure, but how's the radar situation? We have a couple of radar stations, but they're very basic. We have mild radar coverage in the east. Yeah, I think radar is in a good shape. We can probably build our airports up a little bit more. So let's make sure that we have air bases closer to the coast from which we can operate potentially against the British, that we are actually controlling ourselves rather than so an airbase here should be not bad. That gives us opportunities, or we build something up in the eastern front. Yeah, I think that's actually more important. There's our defensive line, so let's try to build up an airbases behind the defensive line here. Probably one in Vilnius, and we'll build up the airbase. Kiev is a bit close, so let's build it up behind the front lines, just to have potential for air operations against Russia in the east. And the counterattack against the entrenched Greek divisions here is running, and we might be able to dig them out. They're obviously in relatively well defended terrain, but we have pushed out the Cardiff infantry, so it's just two divisions of the Hellenic Socialist Republic that need to be dealt with. Unfortunately, it looks like their defense from their defensive mountain positions, as well as their aerial superiority, means that eventually this attack again will falter. But we'll keep trying, and we'll see what we can get done there. All right, here we have, we've got 4 Iranian divisions encircled, and the situation is fluid here to the extreme. Let's take the airport. I am not entirely certain why we are pushing south. Let's take the airport here. Can I get this division to... No, let's not do this. Let's instead... it looks like they've broken through the lines there, but since we've connected everything in the north, it's not a big problem. Okay, let's get the divisions in the Iranian divisions in the north destroyed. We'll be taking the airport, and then Yerevan is all but isolated, and the whole situation is going to be in a better shape. The attack against the Greek divisions is faltering, so I'm going to stop the attack here. Let's get the troops to dig in and recover once more, and we will see if we can. We'll again have to wait out the counterattacks, but we will have another attempt at trying to get the Greeks out from that position. The Haitian volunteers are in position, so. What do we have here? We're facing three divisions from the Dominican Republic. So let's see if we can join that fight here. If we can join that fight here, there we go. Get these divisions onto the front line and dig out the Dominicans. Meanwhile, in Greece, divisions need to recuperate before they can launch another attack, which means it gives the Greeks further opportunity to entrench themselves, which is less than ideal. But I would prefer if they would attack south. But we will see how it goes. Ottoman situation in the north is about to wrap up. We have taken the airport, which means we can transfer the first Kampfgeschwader over. And that gives us immediate aerial superiority over the field. And then we should be in a good position. Let's have a look at Asia and see what the Asians are up to. China is clearing out the last remaining Japanese positions. And it looks like they are starting to march into Korea. So we'll leave them to it. And they might be slowly expanding into Siam as well. Saigon has fallen, so the insurrectionists have moved south. So it looks like after years of fighting, German East Asia is finally coming to the point where they can actually become whole once more. All right, so we've taken the airport. We still need to consolidate our positions here. So let's get troops in. Let's get troops in position in the north if we can. But we can also just deal with this holding positions here. Let's see if we can manage to take the. We'll pin the divisions in Yerevan, and we'll see if we can take the position north of Yerevan, and cut them off from all further possible supply, while the Iranians have been encircled and are about to be destroyed. 4 more days for the training centers, and then we can get that happening. We do have to, at some point, however, stop the offensive here, because we are very much on our last legs on this pinning attack against Yerevan. But I just want to give the... Okay, we'll stop now. Hasn't been enough to stop them. But we'll see if we can push them out from the north, and otherwise we will have to wait for additional troops to arrive. And they are breaking out in the south here, unfortunately, but that's fine. Once we've defeated the Iranians, we will send. We will, and the Turkish are already pushing back. We will move towards taking Yerevan, and then that should be the end of it relatively soon. Localized training centers are complete, which means, unfortunately, I don't think it's still going to work for the current operative that we can hire. So it was worth trying, but we'll take the Polish operative for now. Well, in Greece, we'll wait because we are in a bit of a stalemate here. We'll wait for the planning to complete, and then we'll launch another assault out of Larissa into the south. So let's let's actually check what our Haitian friends are doing. We are making progress, but it is hard going here. So we are digging out the positions in the east here in the forest in the Dominican Republic. So Greece is ongoing, and we'll focus on the Ottomans for now, where we are very much exhausted, but we are trying to take fortified positions north of Yerevan. They have broken out in the south across the river against weakened Turkish defenses, but once the Iranian divisions in the north near Ardahan have capitulated, okay, everybody is in place. Please stay where you are. Once these divisions in the north have capitulated, then we can move south here and assist with pushing back the troops towards Yerevan, and then Yerevan is isolated. There we go. And the rest of the divisions is coming into place. We can send one of the regular infantry divisions to, we'll just delete that line here, or one of the regular infantry divisions to take that position there, and everybody else should be on their respective front lines. And then we'll get ready for the final assault on Yerevan, unless Armenia is already... Actually, that's not what I want you to do. I want you to go here and here. And you are attack here, please. And then there. There we go. And you... The 18th Infantry... Sorry for the noise outside. Construction ongoing. Okay, goes there. And these divisions go here. Okay. Now we've got everything under control. And I will concentrate in the north. They're still trying to break out further, but I think we have them relatively well contained at this point. Yeah, make sure all the divisions are getting in place here, and then we will launch the final assault on Yerevan and finish that up. And we have decisions available. Let's see what these are. Recruit in France. That means we will be building the section in France. Okay, let's do that, and then we'll save up the political power, because I do want to have a French double agent. I think that'll be quite valuable. So let's make that happen. Divisions in Greece still need to complete planning their assault. We will have another go at Lamia, although the Greeks are dug in relatively well here, but they are somewhat under strength. So once all the divisions have reached their maximum planning, then we will continue there. And here we are launching the all-out attack against the last remaining positions near Yerevan. And I think once the assault divisions are in place, then we will launch the counterattack into the capital. There we go. Divisions are ready. And assault divisions attack into Yerevan from 2 directions, and the last defenders here should not be too much of a problem. Next up, the Turkish troops are again near Tehran, so we'll help out there. The aerial reconnaissance over France is delivering the first results. We are getting some additional intelligence on the disposition of their ground and air forces. So it's still nothing definitive. We don't have the exact numbers, but it looks like, at least visually, most of their fighter craft might be older models and biplanes. There are some newer ones. We don't know how many just yet. So this is all valuable information, and we'll keep maintaining the flights. We are having the second Aufklärungsgeschwader. And we'll send them over to... can we reach England from here? Probably. But we do need a closer... Yeah, we can send them over to... Can't send them over to Brussels, obviously. But we can send them up north, maybe? Still not a great... Or we'll just operate... Yeah, we'll send them to... We'll operate here out of Münster. We'll send them over to England... the third Aufklärungsgeschwader on an air recon mission over England. And slowly but surely we are starting to get some photographic evidence of what we're dealing with here, which is very much appreciated. Also, the expeditionary troops have returned. So I am probably going to just consolidate these troops into one army. Yeah, let's just consolidate them. Hang on, where have we sent these right now? 4th Army under Halder. This is the one. Okay, let's consolidate them into a separate army, and then we can see where we can send them. I definitely going to need. So that's sort of the amount of assault divisions that we have. The cavalry divisions will need to be changed into something more sensible at some point. But we have some very veteran assault divisions, which are not going to go into the mobile, which are going to be either an infantry spearhead, or a potential of a possibility of counterattack. So that force, which is obviously going to be renamed, because we're going to have to see which army that is. We're going to call it the 8th for now. 8th Army. And we under von Marnstein. We'll need to organize ourselves here a bit better. I'll probably do that in between episodes because it's a little tedious. But I'll eventually move these divisions somewhere where they're more useful. For now, let's give them. I'm sort of feeling almost eastern flank here because the eastern flank worries me. But for now, yeah, let's leave them. Where are they in Stettin? Let's move them over toward. Let's leave them near Königsberg for now, and that gives them somewhere to be as a mobile force. All right, back to the front lines. We're still working on working out the details of the plan, and we are closing in on Yerevan. So I think the northern operation in the Ottoman Empire war is going to be completed in a minute here. Once they capitulate, then we can swing east towards Iran. The Ottomans have taken the Sinai and are actually at the Suez now, so they're making progress there. We can probably assist with the eastern operation. The problem is going to be supply there, because we have we secured supply lines anywhere? We might be able to we should be able to supply Tehran from there if we can connect Tabriz, but Tabriz is connected through either through Azerbaijan, so I don't think we have direct supply possibly, but we'll see if we can send some troops east, maybe take Tehran. How far is Iran from capitulation? Let's see. Iran is already 40% towards capitulation. So if we can potentially, where their population centers, if we can move south here potentially, and at the same time clear out Tehran and Qom and sort of the capital region, then we might be able to kick Iran out of the war, and then we can focus on Egypt. So for now, let's finish off the situation there. How's Haiti is doing okay. Okay, we have managed to move forward. Let's make sure that we move the front lines ahead, get the assault divisions into place, and we are actually potentially at Santo Domingo. So I think what we'll do is, once the assault divisions has arrived here, we will launch an assault against Santo Domingo, and just finish off the. Let's launch the assault already. We begin the assault against Santo Domingo. Armenia has capitulated. Yerevan has fallen. That frees up the divisions in Turkey, and there are just some Iranian divisions that we're now clearing out. But with these losses, with catastrophic losses in the north that Iran has taken, there we go. We can now start planning. The next operation, and I think launching an operation against Tehran that is relatively insecure there in the north. So I think we're going to position the troops, the assault divisions here along the line, and then with the goal to take Tehran. And we can have the second group of volunteers. No, all of them, please. There we go. The second group of volunteers to move south and see if they can take the southern ports here, and effectively cut the Isfahan line here in the south, and then join up with the northern operation against Tehran. That way, hopefully, we can kick Iran out of the war. Let's get everybody into position. Please take the railways and then plan your offensives. the Air Force, the 1st Kampfgeschwader, can move south to Baghdad, and we have actually enough that we can send 2 more actually. So let's get what do we have? We have the 2nd Kampfgeschwader and the Kampfschulgeschwader. They can join the operations here. Let's bring them all south to Baghdad, and all of them will assist with the attacks in the various regions. And that means they need to also join the expeditionary forces. So we actually have some overview here. Yeah, and the 1st Kampfgeschwader to Baghdad, they can deal with the northern air zone. And I think the Kampfschulgeschwader can deal with the southern air zone here, in which we'll be fighting. Okay, so we'll get the Air Force in place, we'll get the troops in place. So that's all happening. The mountain divisions in Larissa have mostly completed their plans. So we will we'll launch another attack on Lamia and see how that's going to work out. Troops are on the march, and against relatively well dug in Greek defenders. This is going to be a hard fight, especially that we don't have aerial superiority. But immediately counterattacks from French troops in the east. We will see if we can make the push through with the well planned raid here, and see if we can get through. What happened in Denmark? The raid on Christiansfeld. Danish thugs have brutally attacked the village of Christiansfeld, killing a soldier on leave and 2 customs officials in the process, and hurting German speakers in the village. Unsurprisingly, when the local garrison intervened, the cowards quickly fled back to Denmark, leaving us without the perpetrators. Yes, we will demand extradition, and I think we will reinforce that demand by sending a detachment of infantry divisions to the border, just to make clear that this sort of behavior is not to be tolerated. Okay, we are moving troops to the border, and Denmark, we demand extradition of Danish thugs that have attacked peaceful German troops at the border and have committed murder. That is not something that we will tolerate, and troops are underway on the railways to reinforce the seriousness of this incident. Okay. Meanwhile, in Greece, we will see if we can manage to dig these Greek troops out from their positions here. It looks like the 15th might be the first to fall, while we are getting counterattacked in Larissa, unfortunately. But it looks the Greeks are holding Larissa, so our troops are free to run the offensive. And that just leaves the 11th Division, which is the more combat capable of the two, and obviously extremely well dug in here. So we will see if we can manage to push them out from there. But if we can take Lamia, that will completely collapse the war and should and collapse the front line, and should effectively be a war-ending move if we can make this. So that one division, despite furious defense and some support from the air, looks like it is going to fall to the concentrated mountain attack of German troops. Meanwhile, Denver has fallen, and that means the syndicalists have been fighting sparse skirmishes with the federal government across the Great Plains. Today their efforts culminated as they finally descended on the city of Denver after a large-scale assault across the South Platte Valley. Denver being the capital of Colorado and the main federal stronghold in the Great Plains. The fall of the Queen City of the Plains indeed seems to be a major upset for the future of the United States, and as fighting dies down in the South Platte Valley, many experts agree that the federal government is now almost certain to capitulate to the syndicalists. Yes, it looks like MacArthur's troops are collapsing. Now, we could get involved with the Pacific states at this point and see if we could if we can damage the syndicalists some more. But honestly, I don't feel like risking my troops. We just managed to consolidate everybody. China is doing reasonably well against Japan here, I guess. There might have been a naval landing or something, but it looks almost like we might have to send troops back there if the situation doesn't stabilize. It looks like there's fighting going on, and there might have been a Japanese naval invasion near Chaochang. This is a vital railway line for the supply of the whole region here. So if they can't contain this, then I might have to send some troops again over. I'm really trying not to, because India looks like the dominion of India is collapsing. So it looks like the the syndicalists are winning in India. So we might retreat from there at some point as well. But it looks like the Iranian situation. Okay, Tehran has already fallen, which means our original frontline deployment is already somewhat invalid here. So we will get the we will probably just delete the front line for now and move here without much of a plan. So let's get divisions into Tehran and 2 divisions south to assist with cleaning up the front lines. And yeah, the Ottoman divisions are already pushing ahead here, so there's not too much we can do. Meanwhile, we have some available construction again, which is good. How are we on factories at this point? Okay, we still, what is this, 7, we're still 15 factories short. We're constructing 15, so that's actually good, which means we are good on civilian factories. We can focus on, how are we on fuel? We've got 1 million tons of fuel. I think that's a decent amount. We can probably focus on fortifying the eastern border a little bit. So the front line that we're planning to maintain here is actually reasonably well fortified, but we can do a bit more. So let's make sure that the defensive lines that we're building here are relatively well fortified against Russian incursions. And then we'll ramp up further military production. I guess how far are we with the tank divisions? We're still quite behind on both, so we can start building up more tanks, more aircraft, more scout wings. That's BF1. We have got BF110s to recycle, yes, to upgrade. So yeah, it's a fair amount of things we can do. So for now, let's build some fortifications along the lines here, especially along the fallback line, because I don't trust the Ukrainians to hold the line here near in the east. So the northern flank here is relatively weak. So let's increase the fortifications along this line here. There we go. Let's make that all improved fortifications along the lines, and see that holds against the Russians. It gives our industry something to do. And that brings us back to the situation in Greece, where we are. The Treaty of Washington has been signed, and the United States of America were annexed. And it is the federal collapse. It appears the federal government is on its last legs in America. Yes, they have met with enemy factions generals, and they have capitulated. So, Treaty of Washington, syndicates have taken most of the U.S. Has that ended the Civil War, actually? No, the Pacific states and the syndicates are still fighting, but it looks like the Pacific states are not going to have a huge chance of making this happen. Don't really feel like getting involved there right now. We are pushing against Santo Domingo, and I think we will have that capitulated in a minute. And Denmark concedes. Okay, so the troop movement to the border seems to have done what it wanted. They've arrested those responsible behind the raid and properly delivered them to us. The German court of law will decide the fate of these barbarous murderers as it should be. And in France, we can begin the infiltration of the army, which I think is a good thing to do. So let's send we have one infiltrator, she can come, and then we will send one of the operatives who is currently in France. I think Joseph Jacobs. We'll send him as well. And start that when ready. Okay. We'll be preparing the infiltration of the French army. And I think the last thing we'll be looking at, because it is getting really noisy outside, the last thing we'll be looking at is to see if we can take Lamia off and cut the Greek front in half after pushing out the 7th Cardiff. And I think the chances for that are relatively good. But before that happens, Italy has unified itself. The Italian Federation is one. Today, the head of the Consiglio della Federazione Italiana, or the Federation Council, Adriano Visconti, declared that Italy had finally been reunified and made whole. Our reunification has come about at great cost, yes, including of German soldiers, he told the cheering crowd in Rome, and we must remember the sacrifices made by so many. Grievances of the past must be put aside, and we must be grateful that our nation has come through such a troubled time and found itself once more. There's still much grumbling within the country at the amount of power held by the council, and that in many ways Italy has returned to its aristocratic roots rather than embracing democracy. But for most, this time of unity has brought a great deal to celebrate. A new power rises, and the balance has been delicate since the end of the war, with the Socialist Republic of Italy maintaining a tense peace with its neighbors due to the knowledge that drawing in the French would surely bring intervention from the Germans and Austrians. Thus, any conflict in Italy would need to be a self-contained one. With the Italian Federation drawing its own allies into the war, the situation is now officially changed. The balance is broken. Yes, that means Italy is now unified. And they are part of the Donau-Adria-Bund with the United States of Greater Austria. So there is a very strong central power faction happening here in Central Europe. And I do hope that certainly the opinion is starting to shift. Now, Italy should be very grateful towards us, but they have joined Austria, so I am mildly cautious about the situation in the south here. We'll see if we'll leave the troops on the border of Denmark and see if there are going to be any further provocations. But last thing we're going to look at is the taking of Lamia and the breaking of the breaking of the front lines. So now we have a choice, and I think we will be pushing east because these divisions should be isolated now. So we have 3 French and a number of French divisions in the east. So we will be cleaning up the eastern positions. Alternatively, we could move to Athens, but right now I'm more interested in actually just let's get everybody onto the front line here. Where's my 3rd division? So all 3 of them, please, on that front line. We'll ignore that side, and we are going to, once these divisions have recovered a little bit, at least they have taken some horrendous losses, we will be clearing out the French positions in the east here, and then we'll swing west and deal with the rest of them. But this should open up pretty much everything. We don't really need to deal with the Greeks, and I think the 7th Cardiff has been buttered sufficiently. So I think after we've cleared the east, we can actually just move on Athens, take Athens, and end the war there, right there and then. But I would like to clear out these French positions here, and all that's going to happen in the next episode. In the Middle East, troops are moving into position still to actually, but the Turkish are actually ahead of us and are steamrolling Iran. Troops have arrived in the south, are getting ready for an assault on the port. And I think, given the noise levels outside, I'm going to call the episode here. So, big changes. China might be in trouble again, and we may have to... Yeah, they're definitely in trouble again. They've lost Andong. They've been pushed back from the border massively, and they've lost... the Japanese are pushing them quite significantly. So, it looks like we will have to once again send troops to China. And potentially take Korea just to secure because the Chinese themselves don't seem to be doing all too well. The Qing government is controlling most of the region, but they seem to be struggling to contain the Japanese outbreaks here. And it might need our intervention. The Germans have lost Saigon again. So despite the fact that they were, I think they were already at Saigon. They're still struggling because they have to hold positions against Siam here as well. We're not officially in a war with Siam, and we're not going through the jungle again, but there is a lot of explosive potential in the region. India is making progress, great progress. So I doubt that India might fall to the syndicalists in the end. And given that the combined syndicates of America are about to take over there as well, certainly is going to be not good news. So we'll be facing a coalition, the Third International. If we can sort out Greece, then the Mediterranean is clear. But England, Norway, France, the United States, and India. As the enemies. The Japanese Empire has been pushed back from their advances into China, but we might have to help out there a little bit more. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thanks, everybody. And we are looking at the beginning of the Second Weltkrieg, hopefully soon, or probably soon. We're not quite ready yet. I'm still have a lot of Navy to go through. But we're working towards it, and I think we are starting to be in an increasingly good position. The Air Force is building up. The Western Front Air Group is starting to grow, and scout planes are bringing in much needed intelligence. Intelligence from Britain and France. So we'll get a clearer picture of what's going down there. We'll just need to secure the eastern flank a little bit better, and then I think we're in a very good position once the syndicalists decide that peace is no longer an option.